What's up, what's up? It's time for Done Way Past Funny with your host, G.D. Fenderson. Join us as we discuss the arts, science, and business of comedy with comedians and comedian adjacent. With this episode's guest, James Piscitelli. It's time to get down and get dope with Done Way Past Funny. Hi, I'm G.D. Fenderson, certified forensic humorist and host of Done Way Past Funny. Thank you for joining us as we continue our interview with mockumentary filmmaker James Piscitelli. Enjoy. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and the answer is either it was luck or you planned it that way. Those are the two choices. I noticed that, people don't realize this. When you're shooting in snow and sand, if you don't get it on the first take, the second take may have footprints in it. I didn't really catch that in this. When you, at least in the trailer, when he's walking through the snow, you don't see other footprints. I mean, the other footprints just say could have been him meandering. It wasn't like he's walked. Now, I've seen huge budget films. I mean, millions of dollar budget films when they're in the desert and you see tracks, or ski marks, and they're supposed to be the first ones there. It's just that this, and that's the job of the continuity director or the technical director to catch that stuff.
Yeah.
So with you, was it luck, or did you say we're getting this, or did you go through and wipe out the snow tracks?
A little. So all of the above, we were lucky. Here's the reality: we had such a tight budget, and we're shooting on film. Right. So we do not have more than 3 takes of anything. I mean, we were mostly doing it 1 take.
Right.
So if we got into the snow, we're getting it on that. We would rehearse over to the left.
Yes.
And then get to turn the camera to the clear snow, get in there, shoot it. And if we missed one, we'd have to we'd try to shovel the snow a little bit, make it a little bit nicer. But it's in black and white.
Yes.
Which covers a lot of the mistakes.
Yes.
In lighting and production design. It gave it a great look which I knew at the time. I said, we're going to shoot this in black and white because we just don't have a budget to make this a color movie with all the things we're going to have to try to do.
Right.
The makeup, which was, basically just a guy in a bald cap, shaving cream on it with, black spots. It looks pretty good.
That looked really fucking good. Yeah, I thought to myself, I said that looked good. Yeah.
So just things like that. There's a woman who gives birth to like a mutant baby, and we built that was all done just with a doll that we put clay and blood all over, and again shot it in black and white, and we reversed the film so it looks like it moved weird.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, just all these little tricks that we just did to make it work. We built sets. I mean, believe it or not, this movie had sets. I mean, we were, in fact, the sets were built by a carpenter who built them too good. They were so heavy to move. Like the walls were like 100 pounds, it's not like a set wall. Anyway, it was great. I mean, and the real wonderful part about this whole process is that all these years later, we did have enough footage there to really put it together to make a story. I only had to shoot a couple of little inserts here and there just to make it work, and a few special effects that we didn't have at the time. And it came together, and it ended up, people like it. It was it was shocking.
Yeah, I watched it. I was because I told you before that I fall asleep when I'm watching movies, and it's nothing personal. It's just if I'm watching a movie in the bedroom or the living room, I'm gone. It doesn't matter what I'm watching it on. I mean, if it's a television, if it's on my phone, if it's on a computer, I'm done. I don't know what it is about that position, And so sometimes I have to wake up and say, where did I fall asleep, and rewind. And so it took me, for example, it took me a week to watch The Godfather, a week and a
Wow.
half to watch The Godfather. And that was pretty awful because I'm not going to lie. I found that film very fucking boring.
Really?
The first 20 minutes of that, I fell asleep. It took me a week to get through the wedding because I kept
Mm.
falling asleep before the wedding scene was over. And
Wow.
it's like 21 minutes, or it's 19 minutes. And a friend of mine who watched it and liked The Godfather goes, no, that's only like a 3-minute scene. It says, no, I'm telling you, it's like 19 to 20 minutes. And it goes, no, and because they liked it, they thought it was a very short scene.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was like not liking it. It felt like it was 40 minutes, but it was only 19 because I went through and timed it. I said, no, it was
Yeah.
19 minutes.
Well, that's the thing, I guess it just didn't speak to you the same way it might speak to other people who,
Right.
some movies are, like Seven Samurai, which is the Kurosawa film,
Yeah.
is over 3 hours long. I feel it's like an hour long movie.
Now,
It's
and for the people who don't know that, they may know the name only from the Bare Naked Ladies 1 week.
yeah,
that may be their reference. Like,
yeah,
oh, that was actually a real film? Yes, it was a real film.
yes, yeah. It's a wonderful film, and like I said, it's long, but it feels like it flies by. It's
Now
so
that
good.
now that was called The Seven Samurai, right?
Yes, yeah.
And
Seven Samurai.
that was actually, there was a movie later on called The Magnificent Seven, which was
Yes.
based on that film.
Yes, the remake, the American version is
Right.
the
With Yul Brynner.
Magnificent Seven, Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen, and that was John Sturges was the director of that one, and he's a very good director. Actually, Sturges made it one of my favorite movies, which is called Bad Day at Black Rock, which is
Oh,
just
okay.
an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, worth watching with Spencer Tracy. Spencer Tracy. So yeah. So I mean, you're right. Some like The Godfather. Again, it's a 3-hour movie. For me, it just kind of flies by. But I could see how if you're not into it or you're not sure why are they showing all this stuff, with the wedding. I get it. I get. But that's the beauty of movies. Everybody brings their own experience to it. I don't think there's a right or wrong.
Right.
Just you bring your own experience to it.
Yeah. Now I'm going to again we talked about these already, so I'm just showing them now so that we can discuss it so that people will
Yeah.
see. Okay, this is the Netsman. Well, it's not called the Netsman because all
Mickey
of
Owen.
these short films have like the person's name and then what they do, pretty much.
That's right.
To help the people out.
It's very original.
Yes, but it works. And so here we go. This is the Netsman.
This is truly a great sport. There's nothing like it in the world. I'm just glad that in my own way, I can be a small part of it. My job is to keep the game moving, keep the focus on the players. It's not an easy job. I just gotta make it look easy.
Well, this club has some of the best facilities in the world.
What about Mickey Owen?
Oh, Mickey? He's unique. That is just not true. We've never had him arrested. And we've never pressed charges.
Well, listen, no one said this was an easy job. It can get rough out there. I just hope one day all the cuts and bruises pay off. Netsman at the U.S. Open. That's my ultimate goal.
Now, if you want to know how it turns out, you have to watch the rest of the film.
You gotta watch the whole thing. It just gets better.
Yeah. So, and that's why I left it there. That's my version of a cliffhanger. Does he make it to the U.S. Open? You have to watch to find out.
You have to watch. You have to watch. Yep.
Now,
yeah, that's where that actually came from. The idea for the film is my wife and I were watching the U.S. Open, and we're watching these young, the ball squad. That's what they're called. They're flying, and I said, these guys are going to hit into each other, and that just was it. From right there, I said, oh, there's a funny story. how do you get there?
Yeah, how do you
And there it
train?
was.
How do you train for this?
Yeah. And so that one was, as I was saying earlier, that went into Project Greenlight. It ended up getting, it was an online voting campaign that you would vote for movies that you liked. And that got into the top 50 of the cycle. And then we were really hoping to get to that top 10, which would allow us to make another movie, but they cut us off right there.
Oh, okay.
Ben,
Well, yeah.
Ben and Matt said no.
Now, because I don't want to give too much away of it, because I really do want people to watch for the rest of it. Although we did give some of it away by accident, but still, I want people to watch the whole thing. But one of the things that tickled me was the glasses. They don't reach behind his ears. Now, was that one of those things where he's going to wear glasses? Says these are the only glasses we have. It'll be funny, or or did you actually have glasses that fit and went? No, this will be funny.
It actually is. They were the glasses we had, and
Okay.
it didn't fit. And we're like, well, they don't fit. And I said, yeah, but that looks great.
Yeah.
They were actually my father's glasses, his reading glasses. He was like, well, going around the house, where the hell are my reading glasses? Why did they disappear? But he comes over for dinner, my glasses are gone. And then he watched the movie, my father, he said, those are my glasses.
That's kind of funny to find his glasses. Well, you put them back, so eventually he's like, so it's like a mystery. Where did they disappear?
Well, they took a beating during the filming because they were like twisted, and but he got him. He got him back. He got him back. They were really tough glasses. I have to give whoever Long, whoever made them. My goodness, they were really well made. They didn't fall apart.
It's not a sponsor. Just
yeah, not a sponsor. No, I don't get anything for that.
But you should.
Thank you.
Now, one of the other ones I have here. This is, I'm partial. This was my favorite one.
Okay.
Fitness Expert.
Yes.
I really like that one. And I'm not trying to take away anything from the other ones.
No.
But this one, I like. He went over the top. I just like. I think that if I were a fitness expert, those are some of the rules I'd want to break. I think I would, in my head, I would want to do those things. So he was a fitness expert.
America, a nation with a weight problem. While many laterally overpresent people turn to the latest diets and exercise craze in a desperate attempt to take off a few pounds, few, if any, will ever win this modern-day battle of the bulge. But that's not the case here in the Red Hook section of Brooklyn, where one man is fighting an unorthodox, albeit successful battle against obesity.
Not for nothing, but forget about Lucille Roberts and Jack LaLanne. You really want to get into shape, you got to come see me. The biggest problem with people when it comes to weight loss is their lack of discipline. Well, I'm here to provide that discipline. Have another donut? Huh? You gonna have another donut? We're not like other health clubs. We don't spend a lot of money on equipment. This is a piece of equipment I designed myself. Sure, it looks like a normal treadmill, but drop below 10 miles an hour, it's 200 volts of incentive. That's what I call motivation. I was the first guy to start this cross-training stuff. Cover your face. Grab him. Boy, that's gonna leave a mark. Let me tell you something. When you join my program, I'll be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Look at this guy. Pizza.
Hey, Jerry, how you doing?
How you doing with pizza?
Hey, it's for the family. It's really not for me. I'm not going to eat any of it.
Yeah, but and pepperoni on top of everything? Listen, I'm taking this. It's for your own goddamn good.
For your own goddamn good.
I love that the best is you're gonna have another fucking donut or something.
Yeah. Originally when we cut it, we left the curse in, but it just seemed funnier with the beeps.
Right.
It's
Yeah. Now I do have one thing that I'm okay. During the boxing thing, he goes, I pretty much invented cross training. Okay,
yeah.
there you missed a perfect line there. He hits her and he says that's going to leave a mark. When he hits her, the next line to me should have been right cross training.
Yeah.
Right cross training. That's going to leave a mark.
That's going to leave a mark for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we needed John Set for, sometimes you need a little inspiration. So yeah, we do our best to improv, but it doesn't always happen.
Well, like I said, that one's my favorite. That short is my favorite short. And again, one of the things I like about it is you try to make them, it's tongue in cheek. So it's almost like you don't let people know other than the title. Okay, other than the title, people don't know what's happening. It's like a slow reveal.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
It starts off looking pretty serious, and then just like a little tweak. Now, do you have like an idea? Like do you want the audience in on a joke within the first minute, or do you not care when they catch on? Eventually, you figure like eventually.
No, I think with any film that is coming out from somebody who doesn't have a track record, right? I think you want to engage the audience quickly. You don't want to, you don't want a 19-minute wedding scene for The Godfather. Francis Coppola can get away with that because he's got Al Pacino and all these great actors. He can do that. But when you're just, a low budget filmmaker, you've got to engage that audience quickly. So yeah, we want to get to jokes. We want people to go, this is not a documentary. This is silly.
Right.
They should know it within about 30 seconds, hopefully.
Yeah, that's one that was like, is there like a little clock in your head that goes like, okay, I want them to know 30 seconds or a minute, because you're absolutely right. Now, as a comedian, the younger comedians who are doing like 5 minutes, they can't take a lot of time to build up stuff. They have to come out of the gate firing right away. But if you're a storyteller and you've been around for a while, people know that, okay, he's funny. We're going to give him a chance. He hasn't told a joke for like 45 seconds. We'll give him that because we know he's funny.
Yeah. I know it was, I think it was David Spade. I heard talk about that. He said, you got to have like that 15 minutes that just kills, right? Right from the first joke almost. You set that tone, and if you got that, you got a chance. And then if you're Robin Williams, you can have a long wind up.
Right. You can do that.
Or if you remember like Bill Cosby stuff, right? He would go on, he'd have his long stories, which you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go along for this ride, because it's Bill, because he had a reputation, a good reputation at the time.
Yeah, so he had a couple of reputations.
Had a bad reputation now, and for him, but I do remember. I remember as a kid listening to those albums. Oh my goodness, we listened to them. I must have worn them out listening to Chicken Heart.
Yeah, that's
like one of my favorites.
That was my introduction. To Bill Cosby. A friend of mine said, "Have you heard the Chicken Heart that ate New York City?" And I was like, "No." And just the title of it was stupid to me. And I was like, "No." And I listened to it, and I could see that, even though I still thought to myself, "Why would that scare him? That's so stupid." But the rest of it was, it was funny.
Well, he was supposed to be like a 8-year-old kid,
right?
So it kind of made sense, Anyway, I agree. You just have to, when you don't have a track record, you don't have a major star, especially a comedy. People are like judgy. Like, I need to laugh right now.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of step up to that. Like a horror film, I think you have more time. You can build up tension for a while before you have any blood and guts. But even there, you can't go too long
Right.
with especially if you, and most horror films don't have, if you think about it, a lot of them don't have the name cast.
Right.
They're smaller budget. So even there, they know, like, I gotta show some blood and guts soon.
Yeah, and comedy now, a comedy and a horror, they're pretty much the same formula. You got the setup and then the punchline or the stab line, choke
Yeah.
line or shoot line, the jump scare. It's the same formula. You're building up and then ta-da, here's the joke, or ta-da, there's the body.
Yep. Yeah.
It's the same, pretty much the same formula.
Well, I think all movies, have a formula. There's no question about it. There's the beginning, middle, and end, and it's how you work within that structure. If you can tweak it a little bit, make it more interesting. But the audience has an expectation, right? Every audience has that expectation. So just like when you go to a comedy show, right? They're not going there not to laugh.
Right.
So I always found it fascinating, like Andy Kaufman and his work,
Yeah.
which to me it's revolutionary, but it's tough to be out there and just do what he did, and people were like, "Is this supposed to be funny? What's
Right.
going on?"
Yeah, he was pretty much an artist. Because it's hard to call him a comedian, so maybe a comedic performer.
Yeah.
But he knows what he's doing, so he knows that the audience is dying for some kind of release.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, to this day, my favorite routine of his was his Elvis impersonation.
Oh yeah. It was really unexpected, because
Right.
he's playing Latka essentially.
Yes.
And then he turns into Elvis.
Yes.
Very convincingly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he turns back to Latka when he's done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The best one was he did it on Saturday Night Live. Mighty Mouse. He did Elvis on Saturday Night Live, but he did Mighty Mouse with the album, a little record. Here I come to save the day.
Yes. Yes.
Brilliant. It really was brilliant.
I'd forgotten about that, but yeah, it was that. Yes. And there's some things that people do that you can't, if you duplicate it, people are going to know where you got it from.
Oh yeah.
It's like, okay. There's some comedians that I have homages to. Bob Newhart. I love Bob Newhart. And I have a couple. I think I do an homage to him like in every show.
Yeah.
But younger people have no idea that it's Bob Newhart.
Yeah.
And I don't say to them, "This is my homage to Bob Newhart." They just have to enjoy the bit, and if they're smart, they'll go like, "Okay."
That reminds me of Bob Newhart. Well, you had to have, especially the album.
The Student Driver.
Oh, the student. I like the one where he's supposed to be the guy reporting back about this new tobacco thing. Wait a second, you're supposed. So it's like 1780. It's like,
oh yeah,
he's reporting. So wait a second. So you take this weed and you light it and then you inhale it. Really? Just the way his delivery was so funny.
Now, since you're doing film, you don't have the instant payoff that comedians have or that theater has. So you're doing this pretty much trusting your gut that it's funny or that it's what even though, you're shooting mockumentaries, so it's supposed to be funny, but you don't have the immediate feedback. It's not like you get to shoot the film, go out, and then people watch it and you go back and reshoot it. You're like, okay. So you're pretty much saying, this is the product I want. How painful is it for you to wait for the reactions?
Well, it's painful when it doesn't land the way you wanted it to.
Right.
That it doesn't get a laugh. But the way we would do it is we had our gut and we would just cut it and cut it and cut it until we thought we had something good. And then you show it to a few, closer friends before you really show it,
Okay.
and just kind of see if it's landing right. And most times, most of the jokes are okay.
Right.
But maybe they have to be, the timing is off a little. So, the answer is that it's a process, and sometimes you get it right, and sometimes, I listen. We'll look. My friend Ed and I go. Listen, we think it's funny. We're just going to leave it in.
Right.
We spent a lot of time shooting it, so we're just going to leave it in. Screw the audience.
Now for the most, I noticed a couple of different ratio perspectives in some of the shooting. I think
Yeah.
Are you shooting everything on the same? Like, are you using the same camera, or is it? Because I was just curious about
different cameras. A lot of the stuff we shot in it's like 4x3. It's not wide.
Right.
The 16 millimeter is essentially like a 4x3. It's slightly longer slightly wider than a box.
Right.
That's just a normal frame. What lots of filmmakers would do with, say, 16 millimeter, if they were going to go theatrical, they would blow it up, and it would be like framed more like a 35 millimeter
Right.
film. But what ends up happening is you end up cutting off the top and bottom of the frame.
Right.
So it's not always an ideal outcome. And what's interesting is now a lot of films today, especially like when you have these big auteur artists, they're going back to that format. They like it. I believe what was it, Christopher Nolan, and they start shooting in different aspect ratios, which
Right.
are more the old Hollywood traditional ones. Kind of interesting. But yeah, that's why they're a little bit different from picture to picture. Also, we were shooting with some very prosumer equipment from time to time. It wasn't the most professional camera, so
Right.
we just had to make do with what we had. And I tell everybody, just don't worry about that. It's what's important is to make the movie.
Right.
Don't get bogged down in equipment, because you'll never make the movie.
Right. Yes.
You just go with what you have. If you have a phone, the phones are amazing today.
Yes.
The technology is incredible. You could do so much with it. So if that's all you have, that's your camera. Go for it. Most people, I think, are going to watch the film if they like the content. They're not
Right.
going to worry so much about, the lighting wasn't exactly right. Or
But now but the lighting will help if
it does help. Yeah.
Yeah, if all you have is a phone, with the right lighting, the footage you get from that phone will be as good as anything that somebody close. I mean, because like my neighbor uses a 12K camera.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's going to be way superior to just about any phone you have. But most,
right.
My camera's a 4K camera. I think my phone is a 4K camera on my phone.
And most of what you're broadcasting in, most of what you're showing is 4K. Or if it's on a computer, it's going to be even smaller. And if you're thinking you want a big screen, and in some of our films we wanted it on a big screen. We made sure we shot at a higher, a 4K or
right.
At the time, the best when we shot a lot of these films was 1080p. That was the best there was.
Yeah.
So we did shoot at that, and it comes out pretty nice. But now it's great. I mean, with 4K, I think that's all you kind of need. 6K, I don't think you can see the difference so much between 6 and 4. What makes 6K great is you can punch in on it, and you can change the frame.
Yes.
And that's a great advantage. But on the flip side, from a technical aspect, is these files are gigantic.
Yes.
And when you're editing, that can be the death of you.
Yes.
It is. So it's sometimes better to be at the smaller, the 4K make that your standard and go with that. because you just save yourself so much aggravation in the editing side of things because you want to finish it.
Yes.
You don't want your creation to die because your computer ran out of space and you got to go out and buy another 2 terabyte drive or something like that. Again, the key is, like, I think, is you want to get your film in front of people. That's ultimately the goal. You want people to see it, and they're not going to see it if you can't finish it or you don't even start it.
Yeah.
Some people have great ideas, right? And they just don't start.
I have 16 terabytes on my computer because, like you said, it's so. I think I've recorded probably 90% of all my performances, and have them. And the ones I didn't record, it wasn't because they were so bad. It was because I forgot to hit record. The camera was set up, the camera was there, and I forgot to hit record. Or once I actually remembered to hit record, but I forgot to remove the old footage. And so I didn't have the space.
Yeah.
I ran out of space. And it took me 2 shows to try to figure out what happened. Because I thought I deleted the files, but what I did was I copied them. So the original stayed on my 128 gigabyte card. And I'm like losing, and I'm shooting in 4K, so I'm losing all this chunk memory. And I'm like, I don't understand. It took me 2 shows to figure it out.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a bummer. That's a bummer.
And one of them was my first standing ovation, which I would have. Well, it wasn't my first standing ovation. It was the first standing ovation I got in the beginning of a show.
Well, so and now it never happened. Since,
yeah, it never happened. Yeah, I got an ovation in like the first 2 minutes of I got a standing ovation, and another one at the end. But I ran out of space.
Yeah,
I ran out of space. Damn it.
Oh well. All right, do it again.
Yeah, I'll
take 2.
Yeah, would you mind? I'm coming back next month. I just need you. All I need for you to do is to file in, stand up, and applaud. Stand up and applaud, and that's it. I'll edit it in. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I was so. Hi, I'm GD Fenderson, certified forensic humorist and host of Them Way Past Funny. Thank you for watching our continued interview with mockumentary short filmmaker James Piscitelli. And please come back to watch more of our interview with James Piscitelli. And when you come back to join us, bring a friend.